Today I stand in front of you, as discussed with the Honorable MP Sir. I wanted to share a little bit of my experience as well as what the government has done, and at the third front as to what we can do to take this forward. Trying to put this in as simple as possible and simplify it within 30 minutes. That's the time that I'm given. I'll try to stick with that time as well, sir. So to begin with, let me just tell you, destiny, if you talk about destiny, if I remember Aristotle, destiny is not a chance, it is a choice. If we start believing in chances, we will not be anywhere. So it's very important for us to remember that we start looking for what options are available for us. There are multiple options. I think Honorable MP has already mentioned to you, you have an opportunity to appear for civil service, you can go for the state government services, you can go for multitude of options that will be available to you. You can become a cricketer, you can become a sportsman, you can become so many things, you can become a movie star. There are multiple opportunities that is available to each one of us. What we choose to be is decided by what we are passionate about. Like how I have been. To begin with, I am an accidental CEO of an incubator. I was never destined to be an incubator CEO. I am a teacher. I am a professor by profession. I've been teaching for the last 25 years, teaching university undergrads as well as postgraduate students with some PhD scholars. I work in the domain of artificial intelligence, something that is very, very new and recent that everybody is crazy about. That is exactly my strength is on. We work on robotics using AI, and that's my strength. But suddenly, in the year 2018, I was suddenly asked, what can we do for students as well as people from the region who want to start something of their own? There was nobody to go to. And I do not even understand, forget about the word entrepreneurship, I did not even know how to pronounce it properly. Because that was not what I have been. I have never been, and nor my family, none of my family member has ever been an entrepreneur. Now I was suddenly given a task by Niti Aayog saying that you'll have to take over this. Now when this came in, it was quite a surprise, though we had formal trainings around it, but I was just wondering, how am I going to take this forward? So putting these stories forward, since it has become a little more personal, I'm going to tell this, though I've never told this story on a stage, but I take this privilege, and with the permission of the Honorable MP, let me tell you this story. I took this as a challenge, and I thought, if it is given to me, I'm sure it is not a chance, but it is an opportunity. So I took it forward, despite not knowing the subject, I took it forward, and God willing, by September of 2018, we were given by Niti Aayog saying that we should set up the first Atal Incubation Center in the Northeast. Now, little did I know that an incubator is a place where startups are supposed to come together and work. Unfortunately, I was asked multiple questions right from my university, from everybody coming to me, because I come from a university where there's a medical college. When I talk about an incubator, what an incubator actually is I grew up in Manipur. There are a lot of people, have poultry farms. An incubator basically means, and the incubator that we actually know is a poultry incubator where you put an egg inside and connect to an electric machine and chicks comes out. Small chicken, it gets hatched and comes out. That is called an incubator. That's what everybody gets to know. Then the second incubator that people get to know is in a medical college. If you go to a hospital, you'll find that there is something called an incubator. If a newborn baby has problems, then basically they're put into a blue lamp, space that is basically called an incubator. So I was asked by multiple doctors in my university asking, how can an engineer, a computer science engineer, run an incubator? That was a question very difficult for me to answer. The third incubator that I'm talking about is a business incubator. In all this three that I was talking about, we are talking about early stage of life, that is the early stage of life of a chicken, the early stage of life of a human being, and the early stage of life of a business. So when we talk about businesses, let me just begin with what actually business means. When we talk about any business, talk about the biggest business guys in India. Talk about the best things that are the best businesses that have happened. Talk about Reliance. Everything starts with an idea. It becomes the whole idea becomes so interesting for the person that he sacrifices everything everything in the early stage of its life, everything including the family's life, everything, the societal life, what you need to do when everybody else, all their friends and family are all moving about in town and going out for dinner and having fun. They are basically concentrated on the business. If you look at any of the bigger companies that you see today, they'll all be concentrated around this. So that is exactly what it means by building a business. You have to be very passionate. You cannot, it is entirely dependent on the kind of passion that you build any business with. That is where it begins with. Now, once it is built, the whole thing is, if it is like how Honorable MP just mentioned, he did not have a place to go to and ask, how should I appear for a civil service? Likewise, if you want to start a business, is there a place? If it is school, if you want to have education, yes, we can go to school, we can go to university, we can go to colleges, there are teachers who does it. But if you want to start a business, where do we go? We don't have a place to go. And that's exactly what an incubator comes in. When an incubator comes in. And that the Northeast did not have any. When we started off in 2018, it was in a very, very nascent state because India in itself had started something called Startup India in the year 2016. And India was just building it up. And from there, from 2016 onwards till 2024, in less than a span of about 8 to 9 years, India moved on to be the third largest startup ecosystem in the world. I think it's a phenomenal growth that had happened. But unfortunately, again, the Northeast of India comprises of 8 states, including Sikkim. Okay? Fortunately, we had a lot of people who are very passionate about it. But on the other side, unfortunately, we do not have people to guide us to take this forward. One of the interesting story that I want to put forth in front of you is, as we tell this story, you'll also be quite surprised to know there is a Mysore. I think everybody knows the place Mysore, isn't it? Mysore is known as the incense stick capital of the world. You know incense stick? Agarbatti, dhoop. That is known as the incense stick capital of the world. The most interesting part is to make incense stick, the dhoop or agarbatti that you make, 99% of the component that you use, it comprises of bamboo products. All have to be bamboo products. I'm sure many of you are aware, bamboo, the stick that is inside is made of bamboo. The black color covering, the coating that is used is made out of bamboo charcoal. Even the stickiness that is used, you cannot use super glue or you cannot use Fevicol. You have to use cassava, and these are all available in the Northeast. But a place like Mysore where bamboo doesn't grow became the incense stick capital of the world. Quite impressive, quite interesting how did it all happen. The whole British British went away, but then again, bamboo stuff, the whole thing, the whole process became almost like the way how British used to export things from our place. It became almost like that. But then, people from the region started getting aware that this is something that is very, very wrong and we need to start building something else. Now what happened is, the whole product from Tripura, the whole bamboo product that is from Tripura, the group of entrepreneurs from there said, we will stop supplying bamboo to Mysore and we will start making our own agarbatti. Today if you look at it, I don't know how many have been recently to Bangalore. I don't know if there's anyone who has recently gone to Bangalore in the last 1 or 2 years. If you have seen, there's a new terminal that has come up called Terminal T2. In that, the entire structure is made out of bamboo. In the upper, the dome and the entire ceiling that is made out of bamboo. And majority, almost about 80% of the entire thing comes from Tripura. That is the kind of thing that has happened. The Tripura entrepreneurs have started controlling all of it and they started shipping from here. Now, when this happens, there is a major shift that happens. Here, the people who have started working on bamboo used to sell those sticks. Those sticks were counted into 1,118, if I remember the number correctly. That makes a bunch in those old days. Then Chinese bamboo came into Indian market and they started selling it in kgs. Now, the people from Tripura said, now we will start packaging the way the Chinese does, and they started selling it in kg. You'll find these bamboos in Amazon as well. You can find bamboo sticks, what do you call those, incense sticks. You'll find them in kgs you can buy from Amazon, coming from Tripura. That's how they control. When they do this, what happened was, when bamboo was thrown away, just literally thrown away like this because it grows so easily. It's a grass. I think even in Sikkim we are allowed to cut it. We have the provision, there is a rule around it that it is not considered as a tree. So therefore, when all this comes in, the government is putting all the effort that is possible. The policy intervention is coming in from the government. But we as an entrepreneur, we as people who are supposed to take this opportunity forward have not been actually utilizing this because we only looked at it as a policy and we kept it at that. That is the major gap that is happening between the policy intervention of the government and we as entrepreneurs or business people whom we are supposed to take this forward. The major shift, as I can tell you, is when you have this, if a packet of bamboo is giving you 500 rupees and if you can sell it in multiple things, you end up getting more money than a government employee's salary. Therefore, people started wanting to do more for themselves than look for government job. And this in turn started creating more and more jobs or more opportunity for everybody, not for himself or herself, but for everybody else. When you start looking, we become educated, we all look for salary, we got a government job or we got any job, corporate job for that matter. What happens is, we serve ourselves. We look after our family, we look for ourselves. When you become an entrepreneur, you look after a community. You look after a society. You have people employed under you. And the most interesting part is, because of you, there are people whose children are going to school, who are studying in colleges, and they're able to bring food on their table because of one person. It is not only you in this case, but you are enabling a community. And that is the beauty that you can think of. And that's exactly what should inspire you to become an entrepreneur. And this is not a cup of tea for everybody. That's what everybody says. But why not give it a chance? And if I may also dovetail and add things into it, I think no state in India, sir, as far as I'm aware of, I have looked and checked at many of the states across the country, I have not seen any place, especially for government employees as well. I think the government of Sikkim has enabled a policy which is basically sabbatical leave. I think that is one of the best policies that you can ever think of. Your job is guaranteed and you are allowed to start a business of your own. I think no other state offers this. I think this is the best that can ever be offered by any government. I think we have this. I think it deserves a big round of applause for this. It's definitely something that we need to do. You have a job, and at the same time you are also able to look at something. You can take 2 years or leave and then start a business. If it is successful, you take it forward. And if you're not successful, you come back to your job. I think no government, nobody will ever do this. I think we have all this policy. Likewise, let me tell you a brief story of what happened on 11th of April 2016. RBI, with a group of bankers, which is known as consortium of bankers, decided that we have to do something about the payment system because payment has become very cumbersome. The credit card, if you pay through credit card, I'm sure many of you have experienced, if you go to MG Mark and make payment with credit card, none of the shop owners or business owner wants to pay exact MRP. If the MRP is 100 rupees, they want to charge another 2 rupees extra or 2% extra because the bank charges extra money for credit card. So that is why they used to charge more than the MRP also. This becomes a big challenge for people because I am anyway paying more than the MRP. Right? So now RBI decided that we should do something about it. On 11th of April 2016, they launched something known as an UPI. I think everybody knows what is an UPI. Right? What happened to UPI? Anyone knows what happened to the UPI? It was built on something called Aadhaar, a stack that was built, a technology stack that was built by Nandan Nilekani from Infosys. When they built the whole stack, it was never designed to make like this, make UPI or CoWIN or all of it. It was never designed to make anything like that. The government's intention of Aadhaar was to bring everybody to have an identity. Not even citizenship, but an identity saying that, okay, I am so-and-so, my address is so-and-so, I am identified with this particular number, 12-digit number, 16-digit number, some number we want to identify these people. That is what the whole intention was. When this was built, nobody knows what is coming next. It was built and left there. But the next step that happened was even more interesting. UPI was launched, and by 2013, August 2013, you'll be surprised to know that UPI has taken over the number of transactions that happened in UPI cross MasterCard. MasterCard had 3 billion transactions. UPI, the UPI, the GPay and all of it put together, you have made about 8 billion transactions in a month. That is the kind of transaction that happened. So what happened next, besides this, I think, is the Jan Dhan bank account where everybody was allowed to open a bank account. That also enabled every human being in India, every individual above the age of 18 could open an account with this Aadhaar card. So I think I'm forgetting the exact number. The number of bank account that was opened during this period was phenomenal. So with that, at the back end, the third thing that happened was JioPhone. JioPhone said that they wanted to launch a new telephone connectivity and wanted to make 60 million connections in 6 months' time. 60 million connections in 6 months' time is almost impossible. So what happens? The thing is, telecom department came in and said, we will allow biometric KYC. So biometric KYC was allowed, and because of which you can use your fingerprint for the first time to be identified. You don't need to submit paperwork, and this verification was done almost immediately, and your phone get activated almost in a span of 30 minutes. This is the third wave that happened. The fourth one that happened was the CoWIN app. I think if you remember, everybody could track. America was struggling with paper, so they had paper certificate that they've got 2 vaccines. 2 times they got vaccine, whereas we had it online. I think despite 140 crore population, we had everybody online. We could know on the app that who has got the second vaccine. Why I'm telling you this story is because there's only so much that the government can do. The government made the platform for Aadhaar. What happened beyond was the thought process of multiple other agencies coming together and said that, look, I want to set up a telecom industry and I want support for it. The government enabled it because you asked for it. If you do not ask, the government will not know where to put it. That's exactly what I'm trying to tell you. So with that, today we have one of the largest fintech industries of the world. Largest fintech industry. For example, if you take out your phone and make payment, when during the G20, people from different countries coming here and in India trying to see using GPay, they were quite surprised saying that when you buy chili, green chili for 5 rupees, you are able to do GPay. That was something that cannot believe that in the remotest corner as well, you could make a GPay with 5 rupees. It is possible because of the list of things that I mentioned, Aadhaar, the Jan Dhan bank account, and all the mobile phone connectivity that happened. Because of it, it is all possible. Why this is very important that I am conveying this message to you is because the government has created policies that can enable startups, entrepreneurs, and businesses for all the possible angles, from all the possible sectors that is possible that can be enabled. The next thing that you need to do is, only this is what has been created. Above this layer, if you need to build anything else, you will have to ask the government. Till the time you come up with the idea and then say that I'm going to deploy this, the government will also not know what you want. Because you have to come up with new ideas and tell them, look, this is what I've made, I want some new ideas. And similarly, I'll tell you one more story about what Vijay Shekhar Sharma did. So when you have many people who you could get a message immediately as soon as you have a transaction on your phone, you could get a message on the phone saying that 100 rupees has been credited or debited, that you get a message. So Vijay Shekhar Sharma, the founder of Paytm, when he went to buy milk, as simple as a packet of milk, because though he is a founder of a big company at home, he is still a family man and he has to carry one packet of milk and go home. There's no choice. The boss is at home. So we have to anyway take that. So what happens was, he got he got a packet of milk and he uses his app, Paytm, to pay to the milkman there. Unfortunately, the owner of the milk store has a normal, ordinary, that keypad wala phone. And his SMS was full. So he did not get any message. Because of that, the owner of the store did not allow him to leave, saying, I have not got the money, so you can't go. So I'll wait, please wait for the message to come. I have not got some 30 rupees, 40 rupees. He didn't allow to go. He doesn't know who is Vijay Shekhar Sharma anyway. He's using Paytm though. So he doesn't know. So what happened was, he realized there is a genuine problem. There's a genuine problem here. Because message is full, and I have paid it, it's deducted from my account, yet this guy is not allowing me to go. If it is happening with Vijay Shekhar Sharma with his Paytm, I'm sure there will be multiple stories like this across 140 crore population of the country when they use this Paytm. So therefore what he did, he decided that there has to be something that we need to do. The next day he went back to the office, said, this is what I faced yesterday. He checked on the message and he realized the message was full. He deleted some, the message came. After that he was let go, he was allowed to go. He went back to the office the next day and decided, we have to do something about it. You know what came after that? The most interesting, the most simplest thing, all the problems in the world had the simplest solution. The simplest solution that came out was, we decided that we should put a speaker with this. The moment it gets deducted, it announces, credited at 120 rupees, that you get a message. Because of that, a speaker making company also got enabled, and that company also started selling to Paytm. That's the kind of business. So what I'm trying to tell you along with this story is, first of all, if you want to start a business, the first and the foremost thing that needs to be done is identify a problem that everybody else is commonly facing. Once you know that there's a problem, if everybody is facing a problem, please remember there's money. Okay? If there's a problem, people are ready to pay. Today, I'm sure many of you, when you either go back in the morning or in the evening, we generally have problems with traffic conditions in the Gangtok road. There are a lot of people. If I say that instead of taking 20 minutes from Tadung to Gangtok, if I can pay 5 rupees more and you'll allow me to reach another 5 minutes earlier, I think there are a lot of people who will be ready to pay this. Now, can you think of a solution to do that? And that 5 rupees is all yours. Every 5 rupees that comes is all yours, and every 5 rupees is a business in the making. And with that, I just want to end up summarize this because I think my time is already up. What I wanted to tell you is, I think the quest is a very sincere and a very strong attempt in making the entire efforts of people from Sikkim and as well as from the Northeast at large. We have always been on the menu, if I'm maybe allowed to say. We have always been on the menu. To be on the menu is the list of food that you see as you go to a restaurant. We have always been on the menu, but we have never been ordered. Now the Honorable MP says that we should bring this, we should not be always present on the menu. He wants to see this on the table. I think it's rightly deserved. It's time now for us to bring this on the table, let the world know that we can do better. We can also come and we can also showcase to the world that there is a rising ecosystem happening in the state of Sikkim. With that, thank you so very much. If there's any Q&A questions, I would definitely like to answer. Thank you so much. Well, I think I am not the right person to answer this. I am not an expert in climate change, but whatever little I know that I can tell you, there are lots of efforts being made around climate change, climate action. I think Sikkim is already at the forefront because we are one of the greenest states in the country. Therefore, I think there are not much effort is required for the state in itself, but we can become a global citizen and we can help the rest of the world in solving this problem globally. There are many ways in which this can be solved. There are issues like carbon credit, which can be converted into cash. There are many ways which you can also intervene by helping reducing the reusable and recycling of products. These are multiple ways of doing things. But this is a very, very huge topic to discuss. And as such, from the state of Sikkim, I think there are policy interventions that are already in existence, which is already helping the climate action. We are already almost carbon neutral as a state. Therefore, Sikkim is exceptionally at the forefront in every aspect in terms of climate action. But my sincere appeal is, if you have good ideas, because we have learned it from the state of Sikkim, the plastic use and how we do not allow plastic, how we ourselves as responsible citizens, we have not been carrying plastic. So we have done this ourselves. Can we take this out and can we showcase to the world that is what we can do? And if you are able to do it, again, there is money involved here. You can become a climate action entrepreneur around this. This is what I can say. But this is a deeper discussion from the perspective of policy. I think there are other better people who can answer this as well. Yeah, from the entrepreneur's perspective, we do have startups including travel, sustainable travel. We have a travel startup who looks after and calculates the entire carbon footprint of every person traveling to Sikkim or to the Northeast. That calculation is given as a carbon credit, and we try to reduce this by planting trees in the name of that. There are corporate houses who are ready to invest in terms of the amount of carbon footprint that you have created. For instance, the moment you leave your house and come to this place, to Manan Kendra up to here, there is an option. We have some startups who are calculating how much of carbon you have emitted. How do you neutralize this? How many plants you need to plant? All this can be easily done, and a lot of investment happens around this. Marico Foundation is one of them. Make My Trip Foundation is one of them. There are people who invest in this as well, especially to neutralize the carbon footprint that is generated by tourism. So I think we are a tourism, a very strong tourism state. So in this domain, we can definitely work on that as well. So that much I can say from the perspective.
Another question from the SRM University. It reads, what is the relationship between incubation and business?
Well, very interesting question. If I may put it this way, what is the relationship between a patient and a hospital? Yeah, an incubation center is basically a hospital for the startups that I would like to put. The entrepreneurs, when you have problems, none of the startups who are doing well don't come to us. Only when they have problems, they come to us, because the moment they are doing well, their business is profitable, they don't generally come to us. Because only when they are in problem, they come to us, because we have a set of mentors. And the incubator is a place where we basically have mentors who can guide you, who can tell you what to do, what should you do next. For example, can I put this in a plain simple word? I don't know if I have the time, though I'll just take this quickly. India as a market is divided into three countries. India, whenever you make any product, if you make pickle, if you make car services, transport ride services, you provide anything for that matter, India is a country which is divided into 3 different countries in terms of customers. You'll have to remember this. One, we have a population of Ghana, which is how we put it. Okay, the lower population where they may not have the means to pay very well. That is one segment. The second population segment, which is also called as the Indonesian population. This is all the terminology that is used officially. The Indonesian population, which is very price sensitive, and there is another population which comprises of only 20%, which is on the upper echelon of the entire layer. That is a layer where we talk about a startup called Jepto. I don't know if you have heard about all this. 10 minutes delivery, you have heard about all this in Bangalore, 10 minutes delivery. That's not for everybody. There's somebody who's cooking chicken in the house and he wants dhania or what you call coriander in 10 minutes. The cost of that coriander is 10 rupees, but he's ready to pay 50 rupees to be delivered in that 10 minutes. That population is about 20%. So when you make anything, you'll have to target which segment are you selling your product to. On the basis of that, you'll have to keep your pricing. And all this that we talk about, we'll discuss in an incubator. So you need to come to us if you want to sell to somebody. You have to come to us. We are not talking to people and telling them this is where you should sell. We'll only tell you, if you're selling to this segment of this country you're selling, the price should be this much. If you're selling to the Indonesian population, the price should be this much. The highest population is what we call the European population. They are ready to spend anything. They are ready to spend any amount of money, but it has to be delivered. They don't have time. They want it immediately. Money is not a problem, but they want immediately. If you are targeting that, then we'll have a different segment of intervention that needs to be done. So that's how we do in case of an incubator. The startup comes to us and we discuss all this. We have experts. We have 48 of them who are experts in different domains. You might have legal problems. You might have legal in the sense you want to sell something and then somebody is competing with you. Somebody put something in the front before you. You have an idea. Somebody's sold it before you. How should we handle that? You want to sell all of it in bulk by another company, and then how do we do it? White level selling, what kind of agreement should be done? All this you'll have to come to an incubator, because the whole thing is we work like somebody who can guide you when you are in trouble. So long as you are successful, I think they don't generally come to us. They don't generally come to us because we don't go to the doctor when we are fine. I think nobody wants to go to the doctor now. We are all fine. But the moment you fall sick, then only you remember the doctor. So the incubator is treated like. Have I answered your question? Any questions there?
I'll read both of them together. How do you define success for your business? And another reads, what has been your biggest challenge and how did you overcome it?
Biggest challenge is for myself in person, or is it personally?
Yes.
Okay. Well, something that I will answer. The first one is success defined. How do you define success? This is something I'm often told. If you have an idea, when in the startup world, there's one of the oldest and one of the largest incubator in the world is called something called Y Combinator. It exists in US. This guy, I happen to be part of a training schedule there in the Y Combinator startup school. When we had that, we were told, if you have an idea, throw it on the wall. If it sticks, then it is called a startup. If it doesn't stick and if it falls off, take it back, remake it, and then try to throw it on the wall if it sticks again. Till the time it sticks on the wall, try it. That's what you say. Throw it on the wall, say hallelujah, and then you start the business. That's what I was taught. But success is defined by what you want to define it as success. Every individual has a definition for success. My definition of success is different from what you define your success as. You want to become a unicorn. If you define unicorn as a success, unicorn is your company becomes $100 billion company. You want to be there? Or $1 billion company, not 100, $1 billion company. Or my success means I want to employ 100 people who are visually challenged. That's my vision of success. Then my success is not about earning money, but employing 100 visually challenged people. Now everybody will have a different set of definition for success, and that's exactly how we segregate success. And I do not want to have a generic definition of success means this. We don't have a benchmark for it. Yeah? That is what it is. And the last question, if I may be allowed to answer, though this is quite personal, I have never said this in a stage, but since you asked it, and I think in a closed forum, and since we have the support of the Honorable MP, let me just address this and tell you. When I started this incubator in 2018, it was quite a challenge because I was already struggling because I don't have knowledge about incubation center, or nor do I know about of entrepreneurship, nor do I know about business. I have no knowledge of it. First point, first problem, I'm already struggling with the problem because I was an ordinary teacher. Second problem, setting up the space, they're convincing many people because we need money to set up. And the first one I noticed, because I have nowhere to go and look. I couldn't go to Assam, I couldn't go to Calcutta, there was nowhere where I could actually go and see how does an incubator looks like. The closest incubator that I could look at was in IIM Ahmedabad, where we went and saw how it looks like. That is how it is. And I saw a lot of YouTube to see how does it look like. With all that difficulties and challenge already facing, personal challenge that I have to tell you is, we set up this incubator, legal entity as a Section 8 company. We set up on 27th of September 2018 we set up. And unfortunately, by 12th of December 2018, in the same year, I was diagnosed with lung cancer. It was quite advanced. People thought I'm not going to make it, but then I struggled through it, and that's exactly where the whole thing comes in. You have the passion, you want to do it, you think you can do it, push through, and there's nothing that can stop you. So I managed to push through, even despite my chemo happening in Delhi. I used to fly back and go to my office straight instead of going back home, because if I go home, they treat me like a sick person, so I used to go to office. That's how I've treated myself, and with that, I could build the thing.